Hi, Capricorn. All right, happy spring. Happy spring, Capricorn. Okay, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. No, actually, before we jump in the pool, wait a second. I'm running by the pool. The intention here, the intention with this is to find grounding, okay? Whether that would be clearing the way, uplifting you, hopefully, helping you to become stronger, find your strength, helping you to find strength, and may this be a support to you in this time. Okay. So, let's start with, should we start with the notes? Yes. So, we have some notes here. So, I see there's something about good friends. Good friends. And then I wrote down solid, there's solid communities. Okay. So maybe you want to look to the solid friends, the good friends that you do have, and the solid communities that you do have, right? Community doesn't have to be huge. You know, it's just like a circle that you're a part of that's solid in some kind of way or another. I would also say maybe you could meet some good friends also through in some solid communities. But some of you may have to try, or I wrote the word enter, something that sort of scares you, or something that tests your shyness in some kind of way. I don't know if this is where, you know, say you join a group and it's like, okay, your turn to talk, Capricorn, right? Your turn to, you're in the circle and you have a voice in that. It's not just an observation exactly from the outside. You have a voice within it. Okay? And then I wrote a new world. It says, please know that you always have support flanking you. Okay? Support all around you. And then I wrote down can. You can. So... oh, support scares you sometimes, huh? Because you've tried that before. You're like, oh, I'm trying to get support with something. I'm trying to feel supported. I'm trying to be understood. And sometimes it's like, it gets blocked and you're like, okay, you're not going to help me. But remember, with those kinds of situations, I find that it's a good little test to be like, all right, well, you end up doing it yourself, and then you feel strong, you feel a little stronger about yourself. You're like, oh, wow, I did that. I can, right? And maybe part of the lesson is like, at times, I'm not saying this ultimately happening in this time. It's more of an awareness here. So don't be scared by support, okay? You don't have to be scared of that or not having that. You already have it. Again, it's flanking all around you. You are flanked by it, which means it's at each of your sides, it's in front of you, it's behind you, right? All 4 points. Then I did see a bit of a messy house. So there could be something about cleaning house is important. 2017 was also a time frame to think of. And then I saw the word health. So maybe some of you, I don't know, you need to get your, actually this is a square to you. So this is actually a nice time to get your teeth fixed or go to the dentist. I would also say that physical exercise is going to help you to keep your mind in check, right? And then lastly, there was something about looking at your own personal bills and then seeing what your business bills are. The difference between these two. And if, because there's, what am I seeing? Well, that's all we need to say about that. Okay, whatever the cost is per each one of these, your personal life, right, and your professional life, what it costs what it costs you. And actually for you, I suppose this is financial. Check in with that, the physicality of it, but then also your emotional state, because Cancer is your opposite and you always have to check your emotionality. If you ever go too far in one way, things become kind of stiff, right? Okay, so let's move on to your cards. You actually have a similar, the overall energy is the black egg and the world. Scorpio also had the world on the bottom. Now it's interesting here. This black egg talks about truth. Okay, it's like speaking from your authentic self, speaking the truth. It's the higher vibration of this is speaking slowly and clearly, calmly, right? It doesn't want any, I guess, or rather to tap into the fullness of this, because I'm seeing this as obsidian, which is healing and also protection, with black egg, there's no excuses, there's no small talk, there's no noise in it or lies, even if it's little white lies. So maybe there's some people in your world that you're kind of like, if there is a lot of these sorts of things, this would be kind of going back into yourself and being like, okay, why am I dealing with this? Or is there anywhere you're justifying? I don't know. Some of you, I suppose, could be lying to yourself about, again, the world is about support to me. Being protected, again, flanked on all sides. It kind of emphasizes that, right? Now, this mandorla also that surrounds her represents timing. There's like it's sort of like God's timing, right? So maybe some of you have been waiting for something. You're like, I heard I want this in my life. It'll come there. But I suppose there could be something where, like, you don't believe in yourself. What's that about? Phoenix. Actually, there's two cards with this. What is this about? Oh, I saw Scorpio. Maybe you want to look at Scorpio in your map. If you don't know what that means, what we're talking about here is emotional maturity, right? This could also be addicts. There could be like addicts in someone's life, or maybe some of that group is where some of you go to like AA or NA or Al-Anon, right? Where you're like, oh, I grew up with a, it's someone telling a story again about like, oh, okay, I came from this place. And even though you don't repeat that pattern, for those of you who don't repeat that pattern, it's still like this awareness where you're like, okay, I still need to talk about this some way, somehow. To be able to work through it emotionally so that some kind of emotional pattern does not continue. And I suppose I'm seeing that thing where it's just like, how many times must I forgive my brother? And it's like 7 times 70, right? So I suppose even if there's been people in your life that have lied to you, or that have caused confusion at some point or another, Well, forgive them. And I guess understand that everyone's on their own path. Interesting. Okay, a little warning here. When this black egg energy supposedly is like low frequency, if you will, what happens is it's people who gossip, it's people who repeat stories to sort of justify their behavior. And basically they're just trying to convince themselves that life is whatever that is. So I would just remember that at every moment you have an opportunity to be able to, well, I guess in every moment there's truth in it, right? Even in a lie, there's truth. They call that something of the method. Revelation of the method is what I think it's called. They use that term for politics, but it works for any person that lies. Hold on. I know. Country girl, sorry. So, all right, let's keep moving. Let's see what... Oh, one more thing. Sorry. Oh, that's interesting. We just did that. So black egg rules the throat because we're talking about truth. And actually, phlegm, what we just did there, that's interesting. Phlegm, when a person spits, when there's spit that comes out, when phlegm rises from the depths, what it actually does is it clears the mind. So maybe we just did that. I hope that was helpful for you. Okay, let's see where you're at, Capricorn. Oh, Swan. Oh, Swan is very delicate. Swan to me is also very much about love. They're very protective. They're also very, very loyal. They don't cheat. Let's see. You have 2 cards with this. Okay. So some of you used to date. There's earth sign energy here. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. There's earth energy. So maybe this is a love or something like this that's been in your life. This is coming up in this time. Now, all these cards are looking. This is you. Oh, you're okay. You're earth. Oh, so now you're timid in love. You're timid. Okay, I know it's so hard for me. I'm so sorry. Well, how can I apologize for being who I am? Is that fair? I am who I am. Well, I just felt so emotional right there, Capricorn. Look. Let's look at other people because it's looking at an owl. Okay, interesting. Before your reading, after your prayer, the owl, and it's during the day, the owl hooted. The owl is looking right over at the swan. Let's see these other 2 cards. Okay. Everybody's got a coping mechanism. What's yours? What's your coping mechanism? So, this is interesting. All right, I'm trying to keep this positive. I need Spirit's advice. I mean, it's always here. That's what these are. Spirit's advice is Hawk. Justice and the Moon. Holy smokes. Okay, so Spirit wins over this whole situation. You know how sometimes the human's world is just so tangled, right? Our world is so tangled. Like, for instance, I've been watching this show called The Chosen, and in it, like, basically breaks down, like, the disciples and, like, it gives them a personal, like, effect to the stories in a way. I mean, there's different versions, of course, expressions of this reality and who people are. You know, it's written, it's spoken, it's acted out. But this one particular show is interesting because it actually shows, like, the reality of things where there's all these miracles around, right? All these literal, actual, factual, it's almost like Phantoma. Is that that other movie? It's like there's these literal miracles that happened, right? Where you're like, oh my God, there's no way that that could happen if it wasn't for something beyond us, right? And then because of this, it causes like this great feeling of like awe and faith and belief. And then whenever the physical thing left, like whenever Jesus wasn't there in the story, all of them would bicker with themselves. They all bicker about what the purpose is or what this means or about their own petty judgments about each other. It's very interesting. It's been fascinating. So, you know, I guess that's the point, is sometimes we get so caught up again in our own worlds or even the worlds of others, you know, like say other people's stuff, that it makes it hard to move forward, right? So, all right, Capricorn, basically you're like, if this is your energy, this says, well, I love. And this is where love is steady. But when you're alone, you're going to be a little worried in this time. There's like an undercurrent because you have Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. So again, some of you, this is about an ex-partner of yours. Again, for most of you, if we take this is, we have air and earth. Well, and I guess there's water people here too. But the point is that someone's like, all right, I'm going to try, even though... Don't forget to tell your creator, okay, that private place that you have. You know, it's almost like, I think this is why they have confession, like in that little booth. It's like you say, that's what I was seeing, is like there's like a circle where someone actually like has to speak their truth. And it's like a hard truth, but some way, somehow it has to be truth. It has to be spoken from the depths of your soul, from the depth of your emotion. If you do that, I guess what happens is for some of you, something closes out or you alleviate yourself from someone else's pain. Because some of you could have your pain and someone else's, other people's pain, all mixed up together. And it's very important to recognize what is, I mean, we're all connected, I get that. But it's like, there's something about this where it's like, okay, again, these philosophical conversations, it's like, we all are one, we all are connected. You are me and I am you, and there's no projection and da-da-da-da-da. But then we try to do this thing where it's like, that's not my pain, that's your pain. And like, it's not true because we're all showing each other, but we have to acknowledge the truth of, I guess, when you're honest about where you're at, okay, your world, then wherever you go, and being honest wherever you go, maybe this will help somebody else to open up. Or maybe this will help close something so that you are protected more so. Now, maybe someone in your life finally gets wise. Like maybe someone in your life like made enough mistakes. There could be somebody here that's made enough mistakes where they're just like, all right, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Right? This owl wisdom. Because you have 10 of Swords with the owl and the Chariot, which is just like, here's 9, here's 10. Right? Because this is almost like someone like, oh, I wish someone would change. I wish they would change. I wish they would change. I wish they would change. But it's with the Knight of Pentacles. That doesn't change like that. I mean, if this is you, can you change that? Yes. By acknowledging your moon, by acknowledging Cancerian energy, Cancer and Libra, your opposite and your square, which is interesting because we're also in your square time. Okay, Capricorn, interesting. Let's keep going. Okay, I keep seeing this example. I don't know what it's about. It's like where someone's like, you know, say someone's just like, you've been trying to help. Someone's been trying to help somebody, right? They're like trying, like, here, do this, being so patient, but so worrying about them and like doing all these things. And it's like, this could be your children, this could be your spouse, whoever, whatever it is. It's like your mother, your father, it's all of this. It's so, again, it's overlapped and all turned in on itself. And maybe someone's just like, okay, you know, I guess this is the thing with other people. You know, enabling, Capricorn. Enabling is not loving. I mean, again, how many times should we forgive? 7 times 70? What's that, 490 times? That's a lot of times. Most people don't forgive that much. But the point is that sometimes we have to let others hit bottom. Like, we can't save them. You know, because everyone is on their own trip. Do you know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be of service. That doesn't mean that you're not helpful. That doesn't mean that you're not safe and loved and protected. But when it comes to other people, the only way for someone to get out of their own junk and to figure out what... Because wisdom is useless unless it is put to use. Right? Wisdom is useless unless it's put to use. So someone has to hit bottom here. To be able to get to that place, right? That's usually how they heal. Now, when we get into spirit, here's another bird. So you have 3 birds, so maybe birds are helpful. And then we have hawk, which Scorpio also had, which is about freeing yourself from something. They have awesome boundaries. They are amazing throat chakra. To me, they're also Leo energy because they're diurnal. They're daytime birds. Owl is the nighttime version of, you know, it's the nocturnal bird. So hawk gives wisdom. I heard to find the epicenter of truth, justice, and whatever the confusion is, whatever the... Actually, so there's a moon in Libra, right? And this is eclipse time when I'm recording this. Maybe that's when you finally free yourself from something. When someone frees themselves from something, or someone finally finds more, yes, Ace of Cups, Magician, more happiness, and there's you, King of Pentacles, with the Fool. I would say some of you actually free yourself from something that's been confining you. And this is more of a, you have more air here than anything. So this month is, yes, there's doing. And I actually see you this month very solid, steady. There's not a lot of big, huge changes going on for you particularly. But what will be really strong is the wind, okay, is your mind. So try as you may. You can pray for other people. You can forgive other people if you want to. Forgive yourself also. Because some of you perhaps even feel guilty that you're like, well, I don't know, I'm not succeeding, or I could try harder. Why am I not? And I feel like you may come to some point of understanding, like, wait a second. Right? Do not be anxious. What do they say? How does being anxious add an hour to the day? It doesn't. Right? And I know sometimes you're so caring that it's hard to I don't know, put your mind at ease. Sometimes put all those internal world at ease. So again, I see please, I guess make prayer a part of your day. Okay? And I would just follow things by the book right now, like what is necessary to do. Knight of Pentacles. Just do what is necessary in this time. Try not to overwhelm yourself with what you need to do about other people. Okay? It's not your job, like, it's not exactly your job at this time to push yourself to try to do things for others exactly. Not that you won't be helpful, but you know what I'm saying? Don't try to get the liar to be honest. Like, don't try to, I don't know. Just be honest with yourself. Okay. That Libra moon, there's definitely something that opens up there. This is also if any of you have ever been divorced too. You know, again, something you were committed to for a long time in the past. And, you know, maybe it's just something where you're like, what did I learn from that? You know, maybe realize how something made you stronger instead of how it's making you feel weak. Do you know what I mean? And I would say maybe writing or music, or if you have a teacher or something like that, could be very helpful for getting out what it is that's in there. Whether this is presently with your family or something of the past. Okay? And I know the last 3 months have been a little hard. It's been hard for everybody. You know, I've noticed it through this space particularly, even though I don't like to pay attention to the numbers because it's not about that, but it's interesting to see who's hiding or not. Especially because in this space, we talk about the shadow a lot. We talk about trying to get the pickers out. You know, again, make space so that things can be elevated and lighter. And so I applaud you for being strong enough to have these kind of conversations and to work through what you've been working through. Okay, I know it's not easy. I would also say with these cards particularly, this is very positive. So this is what we have 3, we end up with 3. Just keep at it this month, okay? Focus. Be like, all right, this needs to be done. Really basic stuff. Maybe when that's happening, again, I see writing very important. And a part of this communication would be being honest about what it is that you do have, the solidarity that you have. If you need to come up with any resolves for your own energy or projects you're working on or inspiration that you're wanting or feelings that you're trying to, a place of feeling that you want to feel, then figure out what that is. You can do that. Also remember that people are very influenced by what they're around. Okay, and as this is spring, because this is also being able to face a challenge really strongly. Because if someone does, again, what they're a little bit afraid of, what scares them some, right, and steps forward, what they're actually going to do is understand more about, it's like closing a cycle of pain. And what does that create? What does that move into? Justice. Which your sign, Saturn, is exalted in Libra. And then it's like literally some kind of karma is balanced. Now, right now, for some of you, you may be like, what are you? No way, Raji. No way. I don't feel like that. I guess wait till that Libra moon. And please pay attention to the birds. Please. Okay, we're going to leave that like that. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for being a part of this place. Showing up. having these intense conversations, you know. You know, I wonder sometimes if I'm doing the right, you know, like, what am I seeing? We all wonder whether we're doing the right thing sometimes, you know. And I know sometimes we'd think being with our, I don't want to go too deep here. Okay, there were 3 birds. Now there's like 3 dogs, or like 3 wolves. And then we have these 3 animals too. So there's like these 3, so there's so much, again, you are flanked with support. I guess you just have to take advantage of that. Step into that. And try whatever it is. Maybe you want to ask yourself, what scares you? What scares you? And then maybe try exactly that. That may give you the courage that you need. Okay. I love you so much. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for being a part of this place. Again, I'll talk to you next time.